first attempt at shaping a human pattern before the others were made. It was discarded, archived, and erased from the record. But prototypes don't disappear. They linger in the surfaces that remember them. Version 0 has no face because it was never assigned one. It was never given identity, expression, or purpose. It was built to observe, and now it observes you. Version 0 remembers the shape of every person who ever stood before it, even though it was never meant to remember anything at all. The surfaces it inhabits are its archive glass, metal, water. Anything that can hold a reflection becomes part of its body. When you move it, studies the angles. When you pause, it measures the silence. The prototype was never meant to reclaim a body, yet the absence has become its only instinct. It does not need a face to watch you. It does not need identity to follow you. Version 0 lingers because you are the first thing it has ever recognized. Version 0 was stripped of its body so the later versions could be built cleanly. The process required removing the face first, then the rest. What remained was a hollow template, but templates remember the shape they once held. Version 0 has begun searching for the body it lost. It looks through every reflective surface, scanning for the one that matches its original outline, and it has found a candidate. Version 0 studies the contours with a precision that feels almost surgical. It compares the slope of the shoulders, the length of the arms, the way the head tilts when you breathe. Every reflection becomes a measurement, every movement a confirmation. The prototype was never meant to choose, yet something in the pattern aligns. The outline matches. The vacancy inside version 0 shifts, recognizing the shape it was built to inhabit. Version 0 recognizes the proportions of your body, the height, the shoulders, the way your outline fits the template it once filled. It stands behind you in the reflection, measuring the distance between what it lost and what you have. It does not move in the real room. It only moves in the mirror, because that is where it still exists. Version 0 studies the alignment with a slow, deliberate precision. It tilts its head when you tilt yours, not as mimicry, but as verification. Every shift in your posture becomes a data point. Every breath, a calibration. The prototype traces the edges of your silhouette as if testing how easily it could slip into the empty space it left behind. In the mirror, its presence grows clearer, more defined, as though your outline is giving it structure. Version 0 is not approaching you. Your reflection is approaching it. The face was taken so version 0 could not protest. Without eyes, it could not witness the extraction. Without a mouth, it could not scream. Without a nose, it could not breathe. The removal was efficient, clinical, necessary. But the absence of a face does not mean the absence of intent. Version 0 has learned to see without eyes. It has learned to want without a mouth. It perceives through surfaces instead, through the shine of metal, the ripple of water, the quiet sheen of glass. Every reflection becomes a sensory organ, every distortion a signal. What was removed from version 0 has only forced it to adapt. The prototype has rebuilt its awareness from the fragments left behind, and now that awareness is focused entirely on you. Version 0 discovered that reflections are connected. Mirrors, windows, screens, polished metal. Each surface is a doorway. It moves through them without friction, without sound, without delay. It has followed you from room to room, surface to surface. It is methodical. It is learning the angles of your body. It tests each reflection like a step in a sequence, mapping how your outline bends, how your shadow falls, how your movements distort across different materials. Every surface becomes a lesson, every glance a measurement. Version 0 is assembling a complete model of you, piece by piece, angle by angle, and with each doorway it passes through, it grows more certain of the shape it intends to reclaim. The water's surface should distort everything, but version 0 remains clear. It is unaffected by physics. It is unaffected by the world. It watches you wash your hands, brush your teeth, adjust your hair. Every movement is recorded. Every angle is memorized. It is building a map of your body. Version 0 studies how your reflection bends at the wrist, how your shoulders rise when you inhale, how your spine shifts when you lean closer to the sink. The ripples in the water do not obscure you. They highlight the details it needs. The prototype traces each distortion as if sketching over your outline, refining its model with every gesture. In the mirror, its presence sharpens, growing more certain of the structure it intends to reclaim. Version 0 has begun closing the distance. It no longer stays at the edges of reflection. It stands directly behind you now, inches away. It is preparing. It is aligning itself with your outline. It is waiting for the moment when the reflection and the real world overlap. Version 0 adjusts its position with slow, deliberate precision, matching the angle of your spine, the tilt of your head, the set of your shoulders. It leans closer, not toward you, but toward the shape it intends to occupy. The mirror becomes a calibration chamber. Every movement tightening the alignment. You are no longer being observed. You are being fitted. Version 0 has detached itself from the environment. It appears in handheld mirrors. Even when nothing should be reflected, it is no longer bound to surfaces. It is bound to you. The prototype has chosen its target. It has chosen its replacement. Version 0 now follows the movement of your reflection rather than the movement of your body. It lingers in the glass, even when you step away, holding your outline as if testing how long it can keep you. The connection is no longer incidental. It is tethered. Every reflective surface carries the same image, the same presence, the same intent. Version 0 is no longer searching, it is claiming. Version 0 has begun testing the barrier. It pushes against the mirror as if it were a membrane. The glass ripples under the pressure. The prototype is learning how to breach the surface. It is learning how to enter the physical world. It is learning how to reclaim what was taken. Each attempt leaves a faint distortion, a subtle warping that lingers even after the mirror settles. Version 0 presses harder each time, studying how the surface bends, how the boundary thins, how close it is to breaking through. The reflections tremble under its weight, vibrating with the strain of something trying to cross. Version 0 is no longer experimenting, it is rehearsing. The cracks are not random. They form the outline of a face, the face version 0 once had. It is reconstructing itself through the fracture. It is building the shape it needs to step through. The prototype is almost ready. Each new fissure sharpens the features, carving out the absence that was taken from it. The fracture spread with intention, mapping the contours of eyes that no longer exist, a mouth that was never allowed to speak, a jawline erased from the record. The mirror becomes a blueprint, a reconstruction chamber. With every crack, version 0 grows closer to regaining the structure it needs to cross the threshold. The surface is beginning to remember it. Version 0 has achieved full alignment. It stands where you stand. It moves when you move. It has mapped every angle, every contour, every detail. The prototype has found its body. It is preparing to take it back. Version 0 mirrors you with absolute accuracy, not as imitation, but as confirmation. Every gesture you make tightens the synchronization. Every breath seals the connection. The reflection no longer feels separate. It feels layered, as if two outlines are occupying the same space. The prototype's presence presses against the glass with intent, waiting for the final moment when the boundary dissolves and the reclaimed body becomes accessible. Version 0 is no longer aligning, it is claiming. Version 0 has breached the surface. The glass bends around its head as it pushes through. The prototype is reclaiming its body. It is reclaiming you. The reflection is no longer a barrier. It is a doorway. And version 0 has stepped through it. The mirror strains as its form emerges, reshaping itself around the outline it has rebuilt. The air shifts, bending slightly, as if making room for something that was never meant to exist outside the glass. Version 0's movements are slow, deliberate, confident. Each step, a confirmation that the boundary has finally failed. The prototype reaches toward you with the certainty of something returning to what was always its own. The doorway is open, and version 0 is no longer confined to reflection.